Guten Morgen und willkommen zum neuesten Video. Yes, because we should have Germany. It's Germany week here at Positech Games. Yeah, we've updated the game. Hi, I'm Cliff. I'm the programmer and designer on Democracy 4. Coming to early access soon and still in alpha. And we've only got 3 countries so far. We just added Germany. So Germany is very exciting. Here's loads of painstakingly researched stats on things. And this went out yesterday. So if you play the game today, it should check and go, oh, there's an update. We have recently just switched payment providers from Humble to Itch. It doesn't make any difference if you've already got the game. But if you get the game now, it'll be from Itch. And I think they email you every time we update the file anyway, just to make sure. Anyway, so grab the latest version. It's 1.10 up there. And it lets you play Germany. How exciting. Look, little German flag. We really need to make more of these things. Germany has famously loads of parties and is always in coalition. So, yep, 3 parties. I'm going to pick something amusing. I'm going to be the radical loyalists. What I like about some party names is they're ambiguous. Radical in what way? And loyal to what? It could be anything. You know, it could be loyal to aliens and radical in that we want to, you know, disassemble the planet. Anyway, whatever. So Germany is in, and here are its starting stats, and they will probably be fairly wrong because we are trying to create a political economic model that covers every country in the world, which is impossible. But anyway, this is the first week that Germany's in, so particularly to any German players of the game, we are very interested to know when you play the game, in what areas does this feel nothing like Germany, that we need to adjust stuff. And there was a forum thread on our forums saying give us feedback on Germany. It will need loads of balancing. This is the first attempt at it because we have to put it in with all of its stats and policy positions and everything. The policy positions for a game are interesting because in some cases it's pretty clear cut. So legalized sex work, yes, that is a thing in Germany, and you also have gambling. You know, some things are really obvious. You have a right to die as well, which we don't in the UK. We don't. Some things are a little bit more ambiguous, or you will have like a really small implementation of a policy that we then decide we'll set that as not implemented in the game because it's effectively just a minor trivial thing. So we have subsidies for health, which is in there somewhere, I think, or if it's not, I need to fix it. Because this is something that I was thinking about yesterday. I think we got that wrong. But not as kind of state health service in the same way as the UK, where the hospitals are like owned by the state and then the nurses work for the state. It's different in Germany, and that's interesting. Yeah, ban Sunday shopping. We used to have this when I was a kid. You couldn't go to a shop on a Sunday at all, really, or Wednesday afternoon. Who knows? Anyway, so that's the thing that seems to be specific to Germany. State rail company as well. Very controversial issue here in the UK, but you got it there. One of the things that's interesting that's completely new is this, the solidarity tax. Which is funny because to me, that sounds like you're taxing solidarity. Which you're kind of not. This is a thing that only shows up in Germany. Okay, so you won't get this tax option anywhere else. It's basically a tax to pay for bringing East Germany's infrastructure up to the same level as West Germany after unification. They're talking about scrapping it for almost everyone next year, but right now it's in, so it's in. So Germany is obviously a new country to the game. When I put the stats in, it comes out that you have a private space industry. I don't know, maybe, I mean, like, the UK has a private space industry. We have like satellite design and manufacture companies and all that, but it's not SpaceX. So I don't know. Here's something you have: workers on boards. This is a thing that was actually talked about in the UK at our last election. But yeah, it's in by default in Germany. Obviously, you can change all of this, right? You can you can do whatever you want. You start off quite unpopular. Insert satirical comment here. People not particularly well off, but of course the state is providing a load of stuff, so that's maybe fine. And far to the left of the other countries that we've had, specifically to the left of the US, definitely still fairly liberal, but not ultra liberal, because you have stuff like this Sunday shopping thing and some like religious stuff, I think. Anyway, you have an obesity problem. I think that is true. We do in the UK as well. Quite a bunch of problems. Some people on Twitter were saying that you've got a big problem with alcoholism, and it just happens to come out that you do in the game as well, so that's good. Anyway, this is the latest country that's gone in. I'm going to talk about some of the other stuff that we've done as well, because I just don't want to like spend a video telling Germans what Germany's like. Did you know your country is like this? So we're only doing these videos every 2 weeks, so quite a lot of like little things get fixed and improved and stuff like that. Quite a few minor things that you won't notice. There is a correlation between conservatism and age now, slightly, so that older people are more likely to be conservative, younger people are more likely to be liberal. This is, I checked, this is true. Disguised employment, which is a dilemma, has an impact on the gig economy, which is something that we have here. It's the policy that for legal reasons is not called Uber, but it'd be Airbnb and everything, wouldn't it? So that influences that. And there's also a correlation between young people and environmentalism, because young people are much more sensible and therefore actually care about the future, so like they're more likely to be green. That's my bias. There's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, okay, so this is new. So we kind of changed this. This used to be like a tooltip that if you'd hover, that would come up. Now you have to click on it. The reason you have to click on it is in some cases, not many, but there will be more. Is it one of these maybe? Yeah. So let me just explain what I've done here, because the game is quite complicated. So this is the petrol tax. We put in place a petrol tax. What that does is it has an effect on the electric car transition. You're making petrol more expensive, more people are likely to go out and buy amazingly cool electric cars. That will make sense. So that effect will sort of go up and down depending what we do here, yeah? Everyone gets that. And there's inertia on it. It takes like 6 turns for that to take effect, because people are going to wait until their current petrol car dies, or they're going to save up, or they're going to do their research, whatever. We've got to sell the wrong car. Anyway, so if you right click on this, that shows you, and this was new in the last video, that shows you a chart of that effect. So that is the equation of that effect, for example, yeah. The red line, and the black dot is where we are now, because we're slightly along that. Now, if I want to know how much money this tax has brought in, currently it's bringing in 2.23 billion euros. If I click on income history, I can see that over time I've started the game, so nothing's happened in the past. It's always brought in about that. Okay, so it's always brought in the same. And if we look at over here, that will show any inputs to this. This area might be blank if it's just a really simple equation. So this is saying, look, this is influenced by this thing. The income that you get from petrol tax is influenced by how many people are driving cars. Now that's obvious, but we're putting it in here to show that kind of, yeah, we know, and it's in the game. So we can then click through to car usage if we want, and see details on that. So yeah, this is a financial effect, which is why we have this little pile of money here. So that's showing car usage is having a particular effect on income. Car usage is at a certain level, and therefore we get a certain amount of money. Okay, if I right click on that, it will show you the equation for that. So this is basically showing how much car usage is affecting the income you get from petrol tax, and there we are on that little line. Now the reason I've had to make this a dialogue that stays up if you right click is because there may be extra things down here, and I'm thinking of making them clickable through as well. I don't know. So the effect is influenced by the electric car transition. This is a really complicated thing in code, and a complicated thing to think about. So what we're saying is petrol tax. You tax petrol people put in cars. You make a certain amount of money. That money is determined by how many cars there are, which is then scaled by the electric car transition. We had to do this because, like, if you put up petrol tax to maximum, everyone goes out and buys electric cars. So the petrol tax brings in no money. That's kind of, I mean, that's intentional, right? But you have to have it in the game. Otherwise, you can completely wipe out the consumption of petrol cars and still get loads of petrol tax, which obviously you can't, you know. When I say petrol, say here gasoline, if you like. I'm British. We say petrol or diesel, fossil fuels. Anyway, that's a new thing that's gone in. Anyway, I'm going to talk a lot about difficulty in a minute. Yeah, something that's new, right? If I want to cancel petrol tax, it'll cost me 15, right? But if I really reduce it, if I lower it, so it's 3 there, it'll be 6 there, it'll be 12 there. Okay, if I get it right down to there, let's try an experiment. Let's do this. Let's go to the next turn. And I need to remember that's petrol tax. What am I doing? Petrol tax. Okay, so the cancel has gone down. Okay, this is a thing that was requested a lot because basically some policies are really expensive to cancel, even if they're really low. So this now scales. Okay, this was a much requested thing. So basically, the cost to cancel is scaled by its current level. So if you have hardly any petrol tax, we can cancel it. Environmentalists are already upset enough at me that I dropped it, so they're not going to care if I actually cancel it. It's only 3% anyway. That's a new thing. What else? What else? This screen actually scales up if you've got the room and there's loads of effects in a way that it didn't do properly before. Other stuff is kind of behind the scenes, apart from the fact that we added Germany. I think something that went in fairly recently was screenshots. Yeah, if you hit the print screen button on your keyboard, it dumps a screenshot in My Documents, My Games, Democracy 4 screenshots in PNG format. That's a new thing that had to go in. Right, let's talk about difficulty, and then I'll talk about Steam and other exciting things. So getting the difficulty of the game right is really hard, and it seems that people are racing ahead. So like I update the game with a version that's definitely harder, and then suddenly everyone seems to learn a way of winning all their elections easily anyway. Obviously we want the game to be a challenge, and this is an ongoing thing, and this is why we're still not even in early access yet. So what we're trying to do is obviously make the game a challenge. We don't want it to be ridiculous. We want it to be fun. But don't forget, the point of this game is to build the society that you want or you think would be amusing. Okay, the point is not just to continually win elections. Winning elections is just something you have to do in order to play the game in the way that you want. So people often say they've beaten the game. You can't beat the game. It's not the sort of game. It's like saying, I've beaten Lego. Like, well done, you've put all the bits together. But that's really... I know most games are like that, and you have fireworks and everything if you win an election. But the point of the game is as a sandbox, a social experiment, an economic, political experiment, and a bit of fun. And hopefully people learn some stuff from it, and it's interesting, and it stimulates like people talking about politics. But it's not it's not a conventional game. So also balancing it is almost impossible. This will never be a perfectly balanced game. When I see reviews saying a game is not balanced, I sort of think, well, no, real life isn't balanced. Economics is not balanced. Partly because economics has two things that in video games are a nightmare. Which are kind of like a sort of pit of despair and a virtuous whatever upwards. So what that means is if things are going well, we have a deficit right now, or unpopular, things are not going well. In the real world of politics and economics, if things are going badly, things get worse. Okay, and this is a little bit like banks. If a bank looks slightly dodgy and people take out their money, it gets dodgy as a bank, so everyone takes out their money, so it crashes. So the fact that things are going badly makes them go worse. And if you get into debt in this game, if we look here, we have debt, but it's not massive. Germany's debt is not too awful. So the debt to GDP ratio 90% at the moment. So we have a little bit of a deficit, but a good credit rating. If that deficit gets worse and the debt GDP ratio gets worse, in other words, we start losing, the credit rating will go down, which makes perfect sense. No one wants to lend money to people if they don't think they're getting it back at any point, right? Now, that's how the real world works. That's how economies and countries collapse, and why recessions are so bad, and why you can't always just throw money at things. However, from a gameplay point of view, that is a nightmare, because most games do a lot of auto balancing. I'm getting millions of Skypes from someone. Jesus. So it's a real problem in that we want to represent the real world, real politics and real economics. But we also want to make a fun game. So it is very difficult to balance. And you will notice this. If things start going really badly for you in the game, things will accelerate badly. And if things are going really well, it seems too easy. We've got all sorts of systems in place to hopefully make that less of a problem, but it is difficult. And I'm just saying that the hardest thing about this game is not, you know, the graphics engine or the rendering or collecting the data or anything. It's balancing it. And there's so many people playing it in different ways, in different countries, in different styles, that it's really hard. But we're working on it, and we rely on feedback from people. We do collect a load of stats showing us what seems to be easy. It seems to be too easy at the moment. It looks to deal with crime. Anyway, we're working on it. Right, final things. The game has a Steam store page. If you've already bought it from us direct, you will get a Steam key. You don't need to do anything. It doesn't matter. If for some reason you don't want to buy it direct from us, and you only want to buy it from Steam, there's a Steam store page now, and you can wishlist the game. If you think you're going to buy it, please wishlist the game. And the reason devs do this is that Steam notices if a game has a load of wish lists and it gets more promotion and stuff like that. We're doing okay, but you know, I'm doing the typical thing where I say, please wish list our game, please like and subscribe. So yes, the game is coming to Steam. It has a store page and all the rest of it, and we're going to start doing some sort of pressy stuff soon-ish, I think, the week after next. The other thing is, yeah, I've got an exciting thing tomorrow. I might have an announcement afterwards talking about this game, but I can't talk about it yet, which is worrying. Anyway, Germany's in. German people, please give me feedback. Please tell me, like, you found a policy that your country definitely doesn't have or definitely does, and tell us what's wrong with this. And yeah, feedback on difficulty is always welcome. Like if you go, look, this policy is just stupid because it's just an automatic game-winning thing, you know, let us know. And we will be thinking about dilemmas and stuff like that that are specific to Germany at some point. But at the moment, we want to get a load of countries in so we can balance the model for the whole game. And then obviously through early access, we'll continue to refine everything. This is Democracy 4, please wishlist it, or please buy it, frankly. Much appreciated if you do, hugely appreciated if you do. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time. I think that is going to be the last video, isn't it? Hang on. Oh, God, that's terrifying. Yeah, the next video will be the last one before we actually release into early access, which is 6th of October. How terrifying. Okay, yeah, see you in a very stressed state in 2 weeks. Cheers.